Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Bod Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 247. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey, everybody.
And Jimmy Tremmel.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going all right. How you guys settling in?
Not bad. It's been beautiful and hard work recently. I mean, I've been working really nonstop recently. I've been coming home and eating dinner and going to sleep on my couch almost every day the past week, this week. So the interesting thing is happening at work. It's making life interesting. They've decided that they're going to replace all the carpet at the high school.
It seems a little late in the game for that.
Well, they got it. They think they could do it by the 20th. It's the 11th. They got about 10 days to do it.
How big is the school?
It's not that big.
Oh, okay. But
still, it is quite the project, especially when it means you have to move everything out of your room, including my almost shag. I mean, it's that burnt orange color carpet.
I would have said, hey, can I keep my carpet?
You didn't. No, you wouldn't want to. It's got holes in it. It's rotten. It was bad. No, that was having to get everything out of my room was quite the hassle, since my room is full of stuff. Including a server rack, which is too large to get through the door. I don't know how the guys before me got it in there. Luckily, the guys that are doing the carpets are working with me. Since it's on wheels, they're just going to roll it to one side, do what they need to do, roll it back over, and do what they need to there. But as I was temporarily moved into a different room that all my stuff was being jammed into, along with like 3 other classrooms worth of stuff, as I was working today trying to figure out something with my Windows deployment service, I hear down the hall the sound of something being applied to the floor, and I'm thinking to myself, oh crap, if I don't get out of here soon, I won't be able to leave this room.
Because they're putting carpet you in.
They're putting the glue down. Like, oh crap, I gotta go.
I'm imagining a picture of Matt's floor with the fresh carpet down, and you just see his hands and his face. They got that new machine that just sprays the carpet on, right?
No, actually, they're doing carpet squares, which is good for schools because then you can replace
individual.
You can replace the squares if something bad happens. But school.
It's a lot easier.
Mike, I can't help but ask. So they're replacing the carpet now. Wouldn't last year, when all the students were remote, would have been a better year to do that?
Or at the beginning of the summer? Was my point.
So yes, it would have been good last year for that to happen while everybody was out. That would have made a lot of sense. Probably money was an issue. As of right now, the schools actually been given a lot of money for improvements for various reasons, because a big governmental bills been going around, and B, I believe my district tried to get them early this summer, but the first company that was going to do it fell through. And the second company came in and said, we can do it. And so we're doing them now to try to get done. The good news is it is going well. The bad news is computer stuff is heavy. And computer books and desks and a lot of moving of stuff. And so I'm exhausted. Today was like the first day I wasn't sweating by the 10 minutes at a time. About 10 minutes when I was at work today, so I was very happy that although the temperature is starting tomorrow, we're hitting 100 degrees again, so
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
I as far as I'm concerned, any money that's given to schools right now should be directed specifically at the basketball programs, because as the Olympics proved, our country is desperately in need of decent basketball players.
Sadly, I must say, a lot of those things are considered extracurricular, and that's not what the funds are for. Sorry,
But I'm saying that's where they need to be applied.
I know. I understand. I guarantee you, schools spend lots of money on sports. I don't know why, but they do. Okay.
I know why.
Why?
Commercial dollars.
No, it's because it's popular. Parents love the sports, kids love their sports, teachers love their sports, and coaches love their sports. There's a lot of sports ball stuff that goes around in schools. So, when you have somebody like me,
Well,
it's like,
if the schools didn't have the sports ball stuff, there'd be a lot of people out of work.
possibly. I mean, think seriously. You're
Good luck finding a job as a coach when nobody needs a coach.
right.
Yeah. All right. Hey, on that note, why don't we move on to something a little bit better?
Sure. What better?
I don't
Better?
know.
All right, let's
it's
just
all
talk about
relative.
being lazy and watching streaming television. How about that?
So you're
If-
just describing my normal week.
Correct. Hey,
Okay.
if you have an Android or an iOS device and you've been wishing that you could watch an IMDb TV, the free streaming service that has commercial ad-supported
I watch
content,
I watch it on my Roku.
well, it is now available on your Android and iOS device in the US. The app has just been made available. This is the service that provides things like, all the family, How to Train Your Dragon, a whole bunch of other shows.
I've
that
been
you can
watching
watch.
Columbo, and I watched a couple episodes of Macmillan and Wife. So, which made me wonder even more, why did this go on so long?
Columbo was one of those shows that as a kid, it was like, that looks like a good show. When's my show coming on next? Okay, come on, the show needs to be over. So I kind of adjacently got it. I got a little bit, and I knew they always ended with one last question, but it wasn't my thing. Although I do, it was Peter Falk, right?
Yep. As an adult,
Peter Falk.
going back and watching Columbo, it's like, okay.
Quite
Yeah, I kinda like
the guy.
this.
Yeah, I understand that he had to tell the country Romania that the Romanian government was not holding back episodes of Columbo from them because they were rioting in the streets saying that they were. They had to. He had to go out and
Yeah, he had to go out and lie on behalf of their government.
Yeah. Okay, Clyde.
Okay, but you can watch it on iPhone and Android now?
Yep, it is now available as an app on those. You could probably watch them before using the web, but now they've got the apps available. So
I like apps.
So, it makes you think that, what's the difference between this and Pluto TV?
This is owned by Amazon.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
why you can also watch the same stuff in the Amazon app. It's just free with ads. It's got the stripe yeah. There's a lot of movies and stuff on there too. Plus
And
it's built directly into IMDb. So
And
there's
Pluto got bought by Comcast? No, that was Zumo.
it was, I want to say CBS.
Maybe. I can't remember. But no, the different companies were purchasing up all the freebies. And so IMDb was Amazon's choice for that stuff. So free tiers with ads.
Yeah, it is CBS. Viacom CBS owns Pluto.
Okay. Let's see here. We have, speaking of Viacom CBS, Paramount Plus is coming to Europe. It looks like it's going to be sometime. No specific date for you, but sometime in 2022, you're going to be having access to the Paramount Plus app through a partnership with Sky. Where they're going to be providing it to the UK, Austria, Germany, Ireland, Italy, and Switzerland. This means that you will be able to watch it using the Viacom CBS Pay app, or you can use it directly through your Sky Cinema account as well.
Okay, well, as I've been saying all along, I will not sign up for Paramount Plus until I can sign up for it in Europe.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't remember you saying that, quite frankly.
I don't either. No, I mean, good. They're spreading the love.
Yeah, absolutely. And weren't they doing the Paramount Network? That was the name in Europe anyway. So this is just,
Well, I mean, it's gonna be weird though, because most of the reasons to sign up for Paramount Plus are already available in those markets on other platforms like Netflix.
Yeah, that's true. Netflix has huge libraries over there.
Because, I mean, I'm talking like the originals, like Discovery. Star Trek Discovery shows, I believe it's on Netflix at this right now, because CBS All Access and Paramount Plus weren't over there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because, like I said, the main reasons you would sign up for Paramount Plus, they've already got deals with other people to show it. So we'll see.
It's kind of ironic to me that, it was already available in Hungary and Russia in the Middle East, but not the rest of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they weren't hungry enough.
Well, maybe they should just went and got some turkey, right?
Bad European country name jokes. Okay. That's all right. We can talk about Paramount Plus and the fact that they're going to go ahead and get themselves a couple of South Park movies.
A couple? Like how many?
So they've decided that they're going to pay for the what was their name?
So like three.
Matt
they're
Stone,
do like
Trey
a
Parker
trilogy.
No, just 2 for the first year.
Oh,
just 2.
Okay.
But then 14, and then 12 more. So for a total of 14, we do over however long.
14 movies.
These are just straight to streaming, skipping any kind of theater idea. Why have that? It's just 90-minute episodes essentially. That's all they're doing. But you know how much they got for that deal?
A lot.
$1 billion, or just about. $900 million in order to extend the series and include 14 movies from the South Park crew, where we get to hear more about Cartman's butt.
Well, no, these are probably actually may not even really be centered around the main characters, because well, like it said, this will be a chance for them to build additional characters, expand the universe. I expand the universe is my own word, but I mean, it's a perfect opportunity.
I suppose introduce some new characters.
And the way what I call that, what the way they explain this, another season. That's exactly what they do with every season. Introduce new characters, expand the world, and they're just taking a regular season and chopping it up into 12 movies. Or 14.
Well, I mean, South Park's been around for a long time.
And it's still relevant. It's still great.
It's still relevant, still good, but still 900 million for 14 movies.
Well, somebody somewhere did the math and decided it was worth it. So there's not many people watching.
The best part is it was 2019, 2020. They signed a exclusive streaming deal with HBO Max.
Oh, they did?
So even though this is going to be on, the movies are going to be on Paramount Plus, the TV show is still streaming exclusively on HBO Max.
Okay.
Interesting.
So,
they got themselves some interesting deals going on there.
Well, I mean, because
Well, okay, so part of the deal too is to keep South Park on the Comedy Central through 2027.
And that's why, yeah.
So maybe that's part of the deal too, not just the 14 movies. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So
They extended the series and also ordered 14 movies. But I mean, the 14 movies is notable because I don't think they have made a movie together since Team America World Police, which is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. It's such a great movie. But,
okay. Okay.
It is.
All right. Sorry. I've seen that movie. I can't now stop thinking about it. It's not good. Okay.
Let me just say Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad.
No. All right. So there's a new feature coming to Windows 11. This new feature is called a focus feature. What this will do is give you a focus session where you can set a timer for a certain amount of time, which will try to eliminate outside distractions and will provide you with a way for you to try to get your work done. As part of this feature, Microsoft is working with Spotify to provide you with some type of music that will help you keep focused on what you're doing. I got a question though. Can I turn this feature on all the time so that I don't get the Windows pop-ups and just hit mute? That sounds great.
You better hope that you are paying for ad-free Spotify. Otherwise, every time your music reward shows up, it'll be all ads and then you're back to work. Yeah, I say file this under features that nobody will use. Kind of like Cortana.
Okay, people will try it, and then nobody will use it. Is what you're saying?
There will be a few like fringe cases out there that are the exception that proves the rule, but for the most part, this is going to be a thing that majority of people are not going to use.
If they have a choice.
No. So this is all about what's that? There's that philosophy, that new work philosophy of segmenting your time. So you focus on a thing and then you do something else, and then you focus on the thing and then you do something else. This is basically that incorporated into your clock. So you can set it to optimize your, and that's why I was saying this is something that nobody's going to use.
Yeah, you're thinking about the home user. I'm talking about the people that work in corporate America that has to use the company machine that's going to have this on it, forcing them to use it.
No, because the company's not going to force you to listen to Spotify.
No, but they might force you to use the focus thing. Right?
But that's the whole point of this focus thing is it gives you do your work and then you get to listen to Spotify.
But I think you can do the focus without listening to music.
I don't know. Either way, I don't think this is. Somebody thought they had a great idea.
Windows 11 is sounding worse and worse as we go along.
When I first saw that first screenshot, and I went, "Oh no!"
Well, it definitely is much more Mac-like.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not a bad idea what they're coming up here with, but I don't know. I just see corporate America latching on to something like this and forcing all the corporate users to
well, it'll be 10 years before corporate America like rolls out a Windows 11, so I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm still fighting to get Windows XP machines off our freaking network.
Oh, wow, man. Really? You don't have the authority to say you don't have
the
patches,
problem is
so
it's manufacturing. There are manufacturing utilities that the company probably went out of business, but it's still a useful tool, so it has to stay because it's running. That just means they hadn't gotten hit with a big enough lawsuit yet.
Oh,
No, I mean everything's isolated. We had to set up a a
That's
DMZ specifically for those devices, so they are not allowed to do anything other than the thing they're designed to do. But still, like I said, yeah, I mean, most places just finally went to Windows 10 a couple years ago. And yeah, it's going to be years before corporate America rolls out Windows 11. And by that point, I think this focus timer will be long dead, because everybody will be moved on to a new trendy workflow. So
yeah. Hey, guess what?
what?
For a while, there has been all the different vendors out there has been providing their maps that shows you their coverage of their cellular. And we all know that when you see the map that shows you their coverage using, showing their map, it looks like they cover just about everywhere, because obviously they like to paint with their color, whatever their color being, all over the map, because they want to sell you the product. The FCC asked for a while for the various companies, various people to go out there and provide their own information about what kind of coverage they get in different areas. And they have released their first version of the map. The map shows off any area that has the ability to download at 5 megabits per second and upload at 1 megabits per second. If your internet can do at least that, it will show up on this map. And I have to say, it's a pretty complete map compared to a lot of the other ones I've seen out there. I'm pretty happy so far with my looking at it of what's actually available. I could tell that where I work, there's nothing, which is very accurate. So I find this not a bad map, quite frankly.
I'll have to check it out.
It's,
my area looks very purple.
Is that from the T-Mobile?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's pretty obvious how that you can see where the highways are and things like that, because they're all so covered well.
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, when I see one of the company maps, I have the understanding that when you zoom in, it's like a TV. When you're standing back, you see a beautiful picture, but the closer you get, the pixels separate, and you see the spaces in between.
Okay.
But yeah.
I mean, maybe this is a little bit better. I don't know, but I mean, like the ones you go to the carriers, and they're all the same, right? But the carriers, it makes it seem like there's coverage everywhere, and it always kills me how they'll to kind of differentiate just a little bit. They'll have some areas where it's a little lighter in color or a little darker in color to show the differentiation, and but yeah. So if it's a light color, then that means you don't really have any coverage. Is really what they're trying to say.
What's funny is the area that I am thinking I want to spend the rest of my days is a big brown spot.
Nothing there, huh?
I was like,
there are lots of those.
That sounds about right. There's a giant one that I was like, okay. That seems about
can
right.
we identify where he wants to live based on a giant brown spot? Oh, that's where he wants to live. Gotcha.
Mexico.
Really?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I thought it was going to be Antarctica.
No, I can't just live down there. They won't let me build a house.
Well, you could build an igloo.
Yeah.
I'm happy
I'd
to
probably
have
get
these
in trouble
maps.
for shooting at penguins.
I'm happy to have these maps because, quite frankly, it's better than what the unfortunate maps we get from the companies are. So I'm really happy to have at least we have an idea of what's really out there, according to a sort of a third party from the companies, at least. So,
Agreed.
All right. Here's an interesting story. Airplay 2 is got a couple new is a new version of Airplay that Apple's been providing for a couple of years, and the Airplay 2 has new features of what it can do internally. It can be able to send to multiple speakers, things like that. And Spotify announced that they are not going to be able to provide support for Airplay 2 at this time because apparently there's a driver app as a configuration that's really making it so it's not gonna. Oh wait a second. Second story here. Spotify figured out what the problem is. There will be Airplay 2 support coming soon. They're figuring it out.
Okay.
This is the hallmark story of somebody somewhere basically making a headline of we can't do it because the Apple won't let us, and then somebody somewhere either got a phone call or an engineer got up and said, actually, oh, never mind, we figured it. Well, we're figuring it out.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it's either an engineer somewhere saying, you know, you said this thing and that's technically not true, which happens a lot. I've had that conversation a couple times with administrators where I said this can't be done. It's like can't. That's an interesting word. Don't use that word.
Oh, sorry, you don't like contractions. This cannot be done.
Sure, that's what it is.
Because we can not do it if we choose.
Right. But no, or it could have been Apple basically talking to them and saying, you are wrong. You can do this thing. You don't, you think you can't, but you can. Here's how you do it. So, which I don't know.
I think I can.
It's
I think I can. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Next story. Charter has been taken to court. Charter is an internet service provider has been sued by various record labels. They are claiming that Charter is not taking heed to their definite requests to take down various people who are downloading their music illegally. So this is the one of the weird times in my life where normally big internet service provider, I feel like, oh man, they must be, doing bad things, where I'm actually on Charter's side this time. I feel like they have every right not to do, to punish their customers for they're being a common carrier. They're doing what I think they should be doing. They should not be having to look into what's been going on, the kind of stuff.
So this is one of the benefits of dynamic IP addressing, because what your IP is today is not necessarily what your IP will be tomorrow. And when they come back and say the person at this IP should be banned because they were doing a thing, it's like, okay, well, who was it? Because I'm not going to ban this person that's using it today because they weren't necessarily the person that had it when you had your problem a month ago. It obfuscates identity a little bit, depending on what services they're using and blah blah blah. But
but we all know that your IP stays the same for a long
not necessarily.
Time. That's true. You can force a change.
You can force a change, and a lot of times they will force a change on you because they need to restructure their IP. You may not,
that's true.
You may have a lease for a couple days, but
hey, you're in a /16 right now. We need to bring you down to a /18 because we need to break up that space,
or just need to move you to a different range because we need to repurpose the existing.
So they
range
change
you're in.
They change your lease, and it sounds like.
Well, then you could always go down to the local Starbucks and download all the music you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, you do that? Really? No, you don't do that, do you, Jimmy? And here I see him on Napster in the store with a hoodie over his head.
I will edit that comment a little bit and say you can try.
Oh,
good luck getting on the internet, staying on the internet when you're at the Starbucks. You might get connected, but will you stay connected long enough?
No idea. I come on. Those guys have got to have put a decent amount of money into their Wi-Fi and internet infrastructure because their customers come for the coffee and the internet. So I don't get it. I mean, that makes sense. A lot of people do that. That's just the thing they do. At least they used to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It makes sense. It should be okay, right? Okay. All right. We've been talking about for a little bit that Crunchyroll was being sold, and Sony has been trying to purchase it for what feels like a year now.
I thought they already purchased it.
Well, they announced they were buying it, and now it's official. Now it's officially the banks have all agreed, and all the government bodies have said they could do it, which doesn't make sense. There's like two really valid anime streaming services, and now Sony owns both of them.
Well, no, because High Dive is still out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I thought it was just Crunchyroll and Funimation. So.
Crunchyroll's the one of the three big ones that I don't subscribe to, mainly because they're primarily sub content.
Right.
But High Dive is a competitor. They're kind of the scrappy, smaller company that manages they get whatever they can get their mitts on and cling to it because they're cool.
Because it's hard.
I have not been utterly dissatisfied by Sony's ownership of Funimation, which is, I'd say, where I watch 75% of my content each week. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this means we'll get more diversification of the content, available content on Crunchyroll. I'd like to see more dubs.
Crunchyroll really did bring streaming of anime to the forefront for most people. I mean, I remember when people were like going, "Have you heard about Crunchyroll?" And like the people who weren't into anime, like, "Oh yeah." And so they got that brand recognition, which is good. So that's good.
Also, I got to find out whatever happened to Kotaku, because Kotaku was up there too.
Well, I have a question for you, but anime question for you, but I will wait till later or after the show to ask you. Just ask.
Okay.
All right. Google is continuing to make changes to how they are doing YouTubes and YouTube Kids. This time, they're making a change specifically aimed at users who are between the ages of 13 and 17. So those tweenagers, or not tweenagers. Those aren't tweenagers. Those are actual teenagers. Right.
Yeah.
These changes are mostly providing, turning on things like safe search onto that by default. Providing a way for these teenagers to upload to YouTube, but requiring that be a private upload at first, so it can be viewed by people who are allowed, but not publicly available. And little things like that they're trying to do to rearrange things. Remember, YouTube got in a lot of trouble, sued by the governments in order to. Because they were making their service unsafe for minors, and this is them trying to make this better for everyone. So, I'm actually as someone who has a teenager who wants to upload stuff to YouTube. I actually like a lot of this personally, but that's me personally. So,
yeah, and. I mean, as a parent, it's ultimately up to you to decide what your child is and isn't allowed to put out into the world.
Right.
As an adult who was a kid once, you kind of realize that there's only so much you can do. Because if the kids want to do something, they're going to do it.
Right. Clyde. Please, before you continue, remember my son is currently in the chat.
Yep. I'm just saying you best intentions.
There's nothing he could do. It's impossible to stop him from doing it. Don't even bother, because when I was a kid, we did. Oh, please stop, Clyde. Clyde, stop.
See what all you needed to do was tell him that don't listen to him. It's a trap.
Well, I think he could. I think after maybe 2 or 3 episodes of listening to you, he knows that everything that comes out of your
is the truth.
Your head is
It's
intended to be
unfiltered,
questioned.
absolute truth.
It's intended to be questioned, sir.
But yeah, no. The other day, I was watching a video and it started out with with a disclaimer that per YouTube rules, blah blah blah. If you are 13 or under, you need to log in. And I was like, I immediately imagined all the 13 or unders that saw that and went,
Click.
right?
Cancel.
No, you just keep on watching.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay.
Just cancel that dialogue and keep going.
Yeah.
They're all sitting there saying, make me.
And I mean, on his behalf, I understand why he's doing it, because he's covering his butt, because YouTube, if something happens, YouTube's going to go after him. But
right.
At least he can say, hey, I told you these are the rules. Them crazy kids didn't follow the rules. But yeah.
You know what?
Can you do?
The beautiful thing about this is that if you want to, you don't have to do any of it. If you do want to, you can. And as soon as they're 18, there's nothing you can do about it. So
Yep.
Gotta let it go. It'll be fine. And thank you, YouTube. I appreciate it. All right. And last year we have one more story. Google Assistant is making an update. This is kind of similar to what they were doing last year, where they provided the family bell, which is something that we used a lot last year because my son was doing schooling from home. And to make sure he was going to his classes on time, we actually used basically a school bell inside the house using the Google Nest display that would tell him what it's time for second period kind of thing, to go and get to his classes and be on time. Now they're providing a new way of you to have an interactive list of things to do. So maybe you have it set up so an alarm goes off in the morning to wake up. It will then go ahead and give you a list of items that you want to have to start your day. That's the example that they provide here. So maybe you can tell them to make sure to make your bed, brush your teeth, make sure you grab your lunch before you go, kind of thing. They're also doing other little things. They're adding a interactive periodic table into science lessons. So you'll be able to go into it and use that to play with the periodic table right within the device. And you get little things like this seem fun, but in truth, in the big picture, a lot of those things will end up going away on the wayside. Is not really that useful, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they've had these routine things around for years. I had a morning routine set up where I could say, good morning, and it would do the things that I told it to, like let me know the weather, what my commute's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. And you know how long I used that?
Once.
Maybe twice. And then I don't. The only thing that the only routine that I regularly use is when I ask it what is my daughter's job, to which it replies, to get her father a Pepsi.
Oh,
Yeah.
You programmed that, didn't you?
Of course.
So I just need a bell that tells me when it's time to open up the wine bottle.
They could do that, and it'll even tell you.
Do you need a bell? Don't you have that inner wino that's constantly nagging at you?
Hey, but it's always nice to have an assistant that tells you. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All righty. Well, hey, that brings us to the point of the show where we like to thank those other people that are like assistants to us. In the fact that they provide assistance in the form of monetary compensation.
They don't like. I can't call them up and ask them a silly question that I could look up on the internet and they tell me half an answer.
You could. There's a couple ways that if they are currently a patron, you could Patreon. Email all of the patrons in a mass email. Just send one single email to all of them asking
How far
the
is it
stupid
from
question
How far is it from Milwaukee to
to Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
I can tell you that. That's like it's about 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
But or you could set up a post or a poll if you had a silly question and you wanted a bunch of feedback. And the nice thing is, if people wanted to participate in that, they could. They just have to become patrons.
Nice.
Patreon.com/The Bod Squad. Doesn't
cool.
take much to participate. We don't ask anything. Well, not much.
As little as possible.
Yep.
Literally.
Literally. All righty. Hey, why don't we get over to some rants and some raves? Rant, rave. What do we got? Can Jar Jar do it in Klingon?
No.
Okay.
Well, let's see who's on deck next.
I'm just briefly going to say that this whole weekend was entirely devoted to the continuing project in our backyard, our deck. Last year, we were able to do the upper deck and completed it, and it looks good. In fact, it looks amazing knowing that I have no idea what I'm doing. So we continued our deck in the lower end of the we have a higher deck that's basically you walk straight out of and from the back of our house, and then a step down into a much larger lower deck that we weren't going to have there. And eventually, maybe next year, we'll actually install basically a roof over it of some kind, a pergola of some kind, where we will be able to enjoy the shade from that and not have our neighbors that are up the hill looking down at us and watching what we're doing all the time. That's the plan. But all last weekend was bringing in the gigantic, 12-foot long pieces of lumber and plex or whatever the decking is called, and building
Did you deck it with PEX? The soft water hose?
No, not that stuff.
I'm like, how'd you do that?
Hey, that stuff's tough. I've seen that.
It is, but it would be really rolly as you're walking around.
It'd be weird to walk on. What the heck? And also, my supports are not close enough. I'd be like bending.
Hence my question.
What's the name of the Trex? Trex is Trex. They want you to have them your supports 1 feet apart because they do bend a little bit. So I had to install a whole bunch of those in there and get them all hung and all the screws, and it just took all weekend, and I was exhausted by the end of the weekend, and then I passed out and then went to work and continued to work all week, and so thus my week has been exhausting, and I have not done anything fun at all.
Yeah.
The most fun thing I did was sit on my butt and say, ow.
I will say, as we had dueling photos on, was it Sunday?
Yeah.
I was competing with you in the fact that I finally was making some progress on my new miter station work area in my garage. And I have not gotten anything else done because I can barely walk. There's a reason I'm sitting in my chair right now. Yeah, I messed up my back pretty good.
I'm sorry, man.
It's part of being old. But I did get some stuff completed, and eventually I'll be able to walk again, and I'll be able to go out there. Unfortunately, there probably won't be any more decent days in the year for me to finish. But
sorry, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
I should post some pictures of my backyard. We're having it all redone back there.
Is it gator free?
Yeah, it is.
No, there should be a gator theme. Duh.
It should be gator friendly. You gotta make some convenient, comfortable hiding
Dude.
spots for gators so that it makes it exciting when people
Dude.
come over.
He needs a moat, obviously.
Oh,
Actually, I would like to have a gator back there to keep the raccoons away.
oh yeah.
That would be nice. All right. Well, that's it for us, I think.
Well, I guess that was a fast.
I guess I'll talk about mine.
Oh
If
yeah,
you want.
yeah, go for it.
So with the Olympics and everything, I guess I was the sucker that subscribed to Peacock,
Mhm.
right? Thinking I was going to get good Olympic coverage there, and I got some coverage there, I guess I'll say.
Oh,
But now that I've subscribed to Peacock, I was kind of looking around. I was like, okay, well, since I'm subscribed, is there something here that I'd actually like to watch before I decide to cancel? So I did run across a show out there. It looks like it's a made for like a Peacock original or something, and it's called Yellowstone.
That's the show I've been telling you to watch for months.
Oh, is it?
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It was on the Paramount network, yeah, or whatever that network was.
Well, it's on Peacock now.
But yeah, or not Paramount. It was it's
Sundance.
Yeah, I think it was on Sundance. It was on one of those channels. It's on TV, but it's also on Peacock. Yeah. So what'd you think?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
if you're looking at doc, there's a question mark there. So I was going to ask about it, right?
Oh, okay.
To say, is this one that I should watch?
Yes.
But I did. I watched
Yes.
I watched the trailer of it over the weekend, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? I think maybe this looks like one I might want to watch.
Yep.
Here. And it had had one of the guys that starred in Lost. And
Yep. It's Kevin Costner is
Kevin Costner's in it. Right?
He's the lead guy. There's a lot of recognizable people in that show. I've only watched the first 2 episodes because I refused to sign up for, and I didn't find out about it until second season had started. So I could have jumped into the second season live, but you could only watch the past seasons on Peacock. So I haven't watched beyond second episode, but it's a good show. Okay. If you like you like the curmudgeonly old fashioned kind of guy shows like Bosch and Longmire and stuff like that.
I only have one question.
Sure.
Oh man, I can't even remember his name. What is the name? His actor's name?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. Yes, he has a particular style to him.
Uh-huh.
Basically, he plays almost the same character all the time.
Most of the time.
Is he playing that character? Pretty much.
It's Kevin Costner.
It's not that I don't like it.
It's a tough guy.
Yeah.
But not like that you like.
The only time I've ever seen him in a movie where he wasn't playing a tough guy it had to be Field of Dreams, because he literally was a pacifist kind of thing.
Yeah.
Watch American Flyers.
Oh, I never saw that one.
The Postman.
Love that one.
Where he meets Tom Petty and he goes,
I know you're famous.
No, man, you're famous.
I actually liked that movie.
That movie was okay.
American Flyer. That's a good one to watch with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not a big Kevin Costner fan. I don't typically, when I hear a movie that Kevin Costner made or is in a movie, usually it's kind of both. I'm kind of disinterested. And I almost didn't watch the first episode of Yellowstone because I was like, but I watched it and I rather enjoyed it. It's a drama. It's got family drama. It's got culture drama. It's got government pressure, people making deals,
your horse broke my fence,
dirty politics, and it's
Want to steal 4 of your cattle.
I will say he is a character I could almost idolize. He's my kind of character.
Okay.
And
that sounds really interesting.
For good or bad, I don't know where it goes because, like I said, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. But yeah. So
Open Range is another good Kevin Costner movie.
I don't.
You haven't watched that one?
I'm actually pretty happy. So I went to a certain theater. It was in Seattle. I can't remember what the name of it, but it was a giant circular rooms theater in South Seattle, next to one of them. It was just a giant theater. And we went when I was younger. We went and we saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves there, and I was like, oh, okay. And it was like, because it was like, oh, okay, that Kevin Costner, he's all right. I got no problem with that, I guess. And then it was years later, and it's like, oh, we should go back to that theater. And so we went back in, and the movie that was showing was The Postman. So it was kind of like his rise and his fall of his career. We got to see both ends of it there.
Not Waterworld? I thought Waterworld was like the absolute bottom of his career, right?
But Postman was post Waterworld. So,
gotcha.
And see, Postman was one of his his attempts to get back into doing anything because Waterworld was such a big burn for him.
I thought I read something that they're talking about doing a
TV show,
another part 2 of Waterworld.
Yeah,
or something like
TV
that.
series.
Yeah,
I've watched Waterworld like after the fact many years later, and I was like, it's okay, it's not horrible, but it's not great, it's fine. But it was it was financially a disaster, apparently.
Yeah, I never watched it, but
he's got gills.
But I know of it.
Yeah. I'm still mad that his name wasn't Gil.
It should have been.
It should have been Gil, and then when you found out that he was called Gil because of his gills, then it would be like a whoa kind of moment. Yeah, I don't know. But
All
right. Well, hey, I think that should just about wrap it up for us. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us again this week. If you want to catch us live, we do this live every Wednesday night here on YouTube. It's still hard for me to say. Just head on over to youtube.com, do a search for the VOD Squad, and hit that subscribe button, and then you'll get notified whenever we are live. If you prefer to watch us after the fact, you can do that too. Go to anywhere that podcasts are available, and you will find the VOD Squad. I can't think of anything else that we need to plug at this time. So thank you, everybody. Well, see y'all in the post show.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.